Joining us this afternoon. My name's Geraldine Bell, and I may have met some of you already looking at the list there, but I'm the UK College and University Manager for Scanning Pens. So thanks again for joining us. Over the next 40 minutes or so, I'm going to take a look at how colleges are supporting dyslexic students in exams, and I've also got a university example which I can share with you as well. So I'll start off by telling you a little bit about us as a company, take a look at our products, then share some evidence and impact with some case studies, some videos, take a little look at the exam reader. Then if anybody's got any questions, you can pop them in the chat box in the bottom right, which you should be able to see on your screens there. We are recording this session, so please don't worry if you have to leave early. I will be following everyone up and you'll get a copy of this session, and it will also appear on our YouTube channel. So let's get started. So for those of you that are not familiar with Scanning Pens, we've been established 15 years now. We have offices here in the UK, so I would normally report into our Telford office. But I'm based in the north of England, just outside Leeds and Bradford. We also have offices in the States, Australia, Canada, and India. So we supply reader pens. It's a piece of smart assistive tech that allows students to access printed text anywhere and convert that to speech. So we supply thousands of schools, colleges, universities throughout the world. We're partnered with the British Dyslexia Association, and we're starters of the International Dyslexia Awareness Movement, should I say, for hashtag Succeed with Dyslexia. And we also initiated our Go Red campaign, so I'm hoping that you are supporting that. And if you've got any activities for the Go Red campaign, do send us some pictures through and we can share that. The picture on this slide shows some of the UK team at the BET show earlier this year, back in January, which seems an absolute lifetime ago now. The gentleman holding the award is one of our founders, and we were proud to receive the Company of the Year award down at BET. So looking forward to going out again and attending events. But like some of you, I'm remote at the moment and would normally do this kind of thing on site at campus. But anyway, let's get going. So for those of you that may not be familiar with our products, we have the reader pen. I like to call that our day-to-day reader pen. That's quite feature rich. It includes dictionary storage, a voice recorder, and then the exam reader is our brightly coloured orange pen, which I've got one here if you can see that. So this is a JCQ approved pen which students can take into exams with them. We also have the Lingo pen, so that translates and probably supports up to about 8 languages now, so it will translate individual words. And our latest launch, or newest launch this year, was the Connect pen, which allows anyone that needs to capture content, they can scan it very quickly without having to make notes, and then they can Bluetooth and share that across multiple devices. So that's the product range. If you're using scanning pens or thinking about scanning pens, they are a very mid-tech solution, discreet in design, I like to think, easy to use, and there's no setup. We have a setup wizard on these, so once they're powered and charged up, they're quite easy to navigate around. I think the important thing for institutions is that you're not relying on a Wi-Fi, so they can be used anytime, anywhere. And as long as they're charged up, you've got 8 hours life on them. And unlike other solutions, whether it's smartphones, laptops, etc., there's no distraction on these pens, so they can just get on with what they need to do, i.e. scan text, and it will read aloud for them. So this slide's got some quite interesting stats actually about how audio promotes literacy. So once the students scan this pen, they can listen through it to the audio, or they can put the little earphones in and listen that way. But 85% of what we learn by listening. 21% test scores increased when engaged in multi-model learning versus single mode. And combining print and audio increases recall by 40%. So some great stats on here. 67 increases motivation. So let's have a look at some evidence and impact here. I'm going to play you a video now. So this is from the Wolverhampton College. We actually filmed this just before lockdown. It includes an interview from Samantha Jones, who's the head of inclusion and Senko, and then we've got some interviews from some of the students there. The girl at the beginning I've used as a voiceover actually, but I think it's quite powerful what she says. But anyway, I'll let you guys watch that now. So let's play this.
I didn't want to go to school because I really struggled. I couldn't read until I come to Metro 1 and discovered that there's a reading pen that reads the words out.
Initially what we did was we bought the first exam pack we bought, and we met with our English team, so all of our teachers who teach English, and we asked them to start using them in their lessons.
So I was introduced to the reader pen by the learning support team, and it's great for me because it's easy accessible. I can put it in my bag, and every time I need it I can just get it out, put my earphones on, and then I'm not disturbing anybody else in the class, and then I'm getting on with my own work.
When I'm doing the assessments for access arrangements, I'm finding more and more that people are saying that they had a reader at school, but actually they don't like somebody sitting there with them, and actually it makes them feel different to everybody else. They just want to be treated the same as everybody else.
Now I'm in college and I use a reader pen now during exams. I like to have that with me, to put my headphones in. I found it to be very, very good. I don't have a person sitting next to me helping me during the exams. I have the exam reader to do that for me. It's given me better results as well, which I'm very pleased about. I was very nervous and I've gained a lot more confidence by using that reader pen.
We're actually getting students now that are coming to us that have used them at school, so they almost expect us to have them now here at college, because if they've got something and they've used something successfully at school, then why wouldn't they want to use the same thing at college? You don't need JCQ approval for them to be able to use a reader pen, which, you know, whereas versus anybody who does awards access arrangements will know that when you do an assessment, the amount of paperwork that comes alongside with that assessment is massive, really. The beauty for us is with reader pens is you can award them as long as the student's confident user, it's their normal way of working, and actually by loaning them out of our study hub, they are actually making that part of their normal way of working. You can give somebody all the time in the world with regards to extra time, but if somebody can't read or can't comprehend a text, then actually it doesn't matter how much extra time you give them, they're still not going to be able to pass it. Ultimately, we're trying to prepare people for going on for university or work, where, you know, the chances are they're not going to get that same level of support. So, and particularly in the workplace, you know, if we can encourage students to be taking pens into the workplace, as we have got students that do, then actually we're empowering them for their future.
One day a week I work in a salon, and the pen is really helpful there because if there's anything I don't understand when I'm mixing hair dye, I can use the pen to read the instructions and make them more clear for myself. I told my employer when I started that I had this pen, so therefore they are aware and let me use it any time that I need to.
We have students that come out of exams from using them feeling on top of the world because they genuinely think they've done better than they've ever done before when they've used one.
When I first applied for the hairdressing course, I didn't think there'd be as much theory base as there is, and this made me quite nervous because I was worried about customers and how I would respond to them. But with the help of the college and the reader pen, this has made me more confident and helped me pass my first level course and hopefully now my second year course.
Hi, so I hope you enjoyed that. I think one or two of you may be having a problem with sound, so I hope you can all hear me okay. The next video that I'm going to share with you is taken from the University of Limerick. So I'll just press the play button for this now.
My name is Thomas O'Shaughnessy. I'm the Assistive Technology Officer at the University of Limerick. We have approximately around 12,000 students. The courses range from engineering and science to education to music to humanities.
My name's Pat Hoey. I'm the Access Manager in the University of Limerick. So that role is really managing initiatives that look at widening participation to the university for groups that are underrepresented in higher education. And one of those would be people with disabilities. I think for us, and for all educators in third level, we have to think, and indeed the students need to think about professions after education. So we're not just teaching our students, we are getting them ready for when they graduate.
When new students arrive, they normally come to Disability Services when we have an assessment with them. We sometimes give them extra time, sometimes we give them human readers. But we found that a lot of the students were reluctant to ask the invigilator to read the question for them if someone else was present in the room. And what happens was there were so many rooms required for readers that we were stretching almost the whole length of our whole main building. We knew this wasn't practical going forward, so we had to find that kind of solution, and that's where the exam reader pen came in. We tried it with 5 students and it worked really well. So they replaced the need for human readers in the classroom.
The fact that we had the pen was really a miracle, that you could actually negotiate yourself through a text without input from another individual. You could get yourself into an exam situation where you could actually read the questions yourself. So you were fully informed, you were independent.
The technology that the university have shown me, I didn't know any of it before coming into the university. The pen makes it much easier, kind of less awkwardness there, that you're not asking someone, you're not relying on someone to read something back to you that just couldn't make head nor tail of. But if you pen, you've no fear of that at all. You can just scan whatever you want, go over it and listen back.
We found out with our students that feedback was starting to come, that people were misreading questions. But now with the reading pens, I'm not getting that feedback. These pens read out perfectly. They read out with a proper accent. They don't have to worry about mistaken words.
Sometimes I just miss words in the question, and then it can lead to me writing stuff that's not relevant if I read the question wrong. Chemistry, it kind of helps because they're bigger words and you can actually hear what they sound like, but I try to know how to say them.
We train the students usually in the weeks leading up to the exams. It's about a 10-minute session that we do with the students around the reading pen. We scan in past exam papers, I go through the features of the pen, and then all the students get to trial it out. The students seem to pick up the pen really easily because the features on it are pretty straightforward.
I had like a day introduction to actually use the reading pen, that you had to change it from left-handed to right-handed because I'm left-handed.
Once you have your headphones in and you have the voice there and you're constantly concentrating on scanning it, it makes it so much handier that you have something to concentrate on. There's nothing really outside you because you're looking down at the page, the headphones in the ear, you're hearing it back, so there's very little to actually distract you.
So we started originally with 5 reading pens. After that we moved to, I think it was 37, then it went to, I think, 126 last semester. I think we worked it out in the first exams, just with first years alone, I think it saved us something like €7,000. But we were predicting that maybe when every year is using it, that we'd be saving approximately 25,000 a semester. But most of all, it's taken over that need for the students to be reliant on someone else. We can't send them out into the work environment not being able to read handouts of material that they've been given anything in hard copy. So now the students can take reading pens out into the workplace, they can scan text away, they don't have to be embarrassed.
It's efficiency for the organisation, but also efficiency for the student. The key thing for us is to make that individual independent, empowered, learn their programme of study, learn their profession, and then being able to transfer into a work environment seamlessly and be confident.
The university is very supportive in that the technology isn't just based towards schooling or education. You're feeling like, I'm only allowed to use that in college or only on college material. I found there's actually one girl that I was talking to, a friend of mine, that uses the pens as well. And she says she has in her bag with her, and if she's ever in a restaurant or something and she sees something on a menu, she scans them as well and she carries it around with her.
So the pen's enabling to work better in a work environment. If you had only a day to read a thing, it might be easier to have a reading pen just to go over the stuff instead of sitting down and reading it yourself. You could have a little bit of an aid.
Some students would feel that their disability would have a negative impact but they can confident and say, look, I have this technology and it's worked for me. You know, I have a first in my degree. I got that through being an independent learner, through the use of reading pens, and it makes me as efficient as anyone else. Probably makes me more efficient because I have to think outside the box. I've had to adapt, and I can adapt also in employment.
So I think you'll agree, both of those videos are really quite powerful, actually. I just love the voiceover from the young lady that said she couldn't read until she went to Wolverhampton College, and then she was introduced to the reader pens. You know, using assistive technology and using things like the reader pen can just support other support packages that you've got in place for them. As I've visited colleges over the last few years, some of the main drivers are just the number of students that are actually coming through with access arrangements that are having to resit English and maths. This slide here, I do have some more case studies that I can share with you. I'll just chat about them now, but when I send you a copy of this presentation through, there's links attached to all of these that you can click on. So Manchester and Leeds City College, their main drive was English and maths. Leeds City College had 7,000 students enrolled for English and maths a few years ago. 1,500 out of that 7,000 had access arrangements, and the majority of those needed reading support. So they had a real issue about how they were going to manage this with teaching assistant readers, and indeed the number of rooms that they would require for the students to sit their exams. So they did a trial with us. They took about 50 exam readers, they trialed them over a month. It was really successful, really positive feedback from all the students. So they've completely rolled out and have been up and running for a few years now. So they're probably up to about 160 exam reader pens. Manchester College was very much the same. They used for the GCSE English. And I think a good thing to point out that the pen can actually be used in the GCSE English reading exam. Bradford College, again, they've been with us a few years now using the exam reader pen. During lockdown, they needed more pens because they were looking for a solution to support students studying remotely. So although colleges have opened, universities have opened, campus lockdowns, not all lessons from the colleges I've spoken to and universities are running on site at the moment. So you need to think of alternative solutions to support those students that might need reading support. So they might only be coming into college one day a week, for example. So this is a really portable device that you can hand to them. Bradford College actually have a loan agreement. So if a student needs a pen, they can go in, and exam readers is part of the technology that they can take home with them. New College Swindon, another good case study, a guy there called John Bacon. He's actually one of our speakers on a dyslexia festival that we're running at the end of this month, which I've got details for you at the end of this presentation. But he actually had a problem recruiting teaching assistants. So he introduced the reader pens. Again, they were a success for students, real positive feedback. And he decided to also introduce the exam reader pen. So he's completely rolled out. And just looking at some stats here for Manchester College, 88% of the students would recommend the exam reader pen, and 100% of students found the exam reader was easy or very easy to use. We also got a good study from Trudy Coleman, who's based at City Academy in Norwich, and 71% of students there said that when they used the exam reader in their exams, they agreed they understood the questions more, because what this allows them to do is actually scan a word, a line, a sentence, or indeed the entire question. And again, when I visit colleges, universities, they may have exam invigilators in the room, but students are not always confident to put their hand up. They don't want to be seen different to everybody. So this is a fully inclusive piece of technology that will allow them to sit in the exam room with everybody else. So some more positive feedback from students at City Academy in Norwich. They're brilliant for the words you don't understand. So perhaps they're not familiar with the word, perhaps they just need validation on how it sounds, so they can scan it over the word and they can listen to it as many times as they wish, and perhaps they wouldn't feel comfortable doing that with a member of staff. We also did some research with the University of Bath. So 72% felt their reading had improved, so it will improve outcomes and results. 99 out of the 121 that participated in the study indicated that when they used the pens for a range of subjects, they felt that they'd been helpful, and 30 pens were retained by students to use in their day-to-day lessons. So, as I mentioned earlier, the exam reader is JCQ approved. It can be taken into the exams as long as it's the student's normal way of working. The JCQ update for this academic year stated that SENCOs may wish to consider the use of technology to a much greater extent instead of readers and scribes. And I think the positive thing they've included in this is that we are preparing these students for their next steps, their next transition, whatever that might be, whether it's to transition through into higher education, or indeed they're going into full-time employment. And they won't have all the solutions that you may have in college or university to hand, whereas this is something that perhaps the students could invest in themselves, and they can have it with them at all times, and it will just improve their confidence and self-esteem. So looking at the exam reader as a pen and its features, it will simply convert text to speech. There are only two options on here, so either text reader and settings. So as long as it's fully charged, it is indeed ready to scan. When you receive the pens, there is a setup wizard, which will take you through the full functionality. So students can set to a particular accent they prefer, so that we've now got English, Irish, Scottish and Indian accents. It will also scan languages. So these pens have always scanned English, French, German, Italian and Spanish, though it doesn't translate. And we added some new languages at the beginning of this year. So it also includes Danish, Dutch, Norwegian, Portuguese, Russian and Swedish. We do have software updates throughout the year. So if you've already got the pens, you can go to the CPEN website and download the latest software onto your pens, so you've got all the up-to-date features. We've also got a webinar that was run, or we had a keynote speaker on actually, a lady called Samantha Garner, that some of you may be familiar with. So again, when I send you this presentation through, you might be interested in watching Sam's webinar. It's about 50 minutes long, but she dives into how to support dyslexia in exams and looks at the JCQ arrangements in more detail, which may help some of you. So you may already have human readers. It's the most common solution. That might not be the right solution during current crisis that we've currently got here in the UK and indeed all over the world. If you've got students studying remotely and only coming into college occasionally, it's like, how can you support those kids that need reading support? It can be the most expensive solution. And when it comes around to exam time, you're going to have the issue of, do you have enough readers? Do you have enough rooms? And the amount of colleges that I spoke to last year that actually had to close college to other students just to fulfill the exam arrangements for students studying English and maths, there was a lot. So this could be the solution for you. Exams are an anxious time for anybody, and even more so for the student with dyslexia. It's like, why do I have to sit in a separate room? Why do I have to be excluded from everybody else? I don't want to be seen with a human reader. You know, they want to be like everyone else. They want to be treated the same. You don't want to be classed as having a disability. So again, this could really improve their confidence, their self-esteem, and allow them to work independently and remotely with support from other solutions that you have, so it can be part of a full support package in your full offering. So just to sort of summarise the benefits, using assistive technology in the form of the reader pens will reduce exam anxiety. It will allow the users to access printed text anytime, anywhere. So whether that's studying remotely, whether they're on a bus, whether they're in the library, they can just simply pick up the pen here, put their earphones in and listen to the words that they wish to scan. It does improve reading comprehension. It's socially inclusive. Obviously, it's COVID secure as well, so it can meet with all the self-distancing requirements as well. It'll increase their independence, their confidence. They can sit their exams independently without having to rely on human readers. And hopefully, long term, it will reduce your costs and logistically really help you when planning exams. So we've also got a series of training sessions running by our Head of Education and Senko, a lady called Julia Clouter. Some of you may have already engaged with Julia already, but she's running a number of CPD sessions, which will give you an introduction to the scanning pens, demonstration, how to implement them and deploy the tools for successful interventions, and then combine strategies for dyslexia-friendly learning. So I'll put a link on there so you can go and have a look at the training sessions Julia's running, and then if any of those dates don't meet your requirements, then I can run one-to-one training sessions, and Julia is happy to arrange some in her diary as well. So do have a look at those sessions. We've also got lots of college and university case studies on our link here. So you can go to scanningpens.co.uk, exam reader case studies, colleges, universities, and you'll find lots of information on there. We also have our own Scanning Pens YouTube channel, so you'll find lots of videos on there that you can have a look at. And we run monthly webinars. We do have our own Dyslexia Learning Festival running on I think it's the 26th of October. It's a half-day event. It's running in the afternoon. So if you do have time, do join that session. From the UK, we've got John Bacon from New College Swindon presenting and joining the other speakers on there. If any of you have got any questions, just pop them in the chat room, or you can email me direct at geraldine@scanningpens.co.uk. So that's this session. I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry for those that have got no sound. I don't know why that is, to be honest, but I will follow that up with our IT department. But I will send you a copy of this recording anyway. Does anybody have any questions at all? So one of the questions from our attendees is, can it read from a screen? It will only read printed text. So if students are studying online, they will need to print off and then it will allow them to scan. It will not pick up the text on the screen at all. I also get asked, does it read handwriting? No, it won't. So again, in an exam environment, you may blend the human reader and the exam reader pen because a lot of students like their answers to be read out to them. Yeah, the pens can be used across most subject areas. It will read numbers. JCQ, I think, have changed the regulations on symbols, etc. So it will not read symbols, but it will read all printed words and numbers. Julie, it will read most fonts. I've got a document that I can forward over to you on fonts and styles. It does need to be dark text, that's advised, but it's just trial and error. If you've got any different coloured text, different coloured papers, then I would suggest you try it out before you hand it to students. But I've been in situations where we've had various coloured papers, pinks, blues, yellows, We've had screen overlays on them, and as long as the print is in text, it works absolutely fine. It may struggle with handwriting styles of font. No, we don't have a hand reader pen at all. Not at the moment, anyway. I think what you may be referring to there, Liz, we've actually got a new Connect pen. So that will capture multiple lines of text very quickly, and then that can be shared or translated onto multiple devices using Bluetooth. I can send you some details of that through. Yeah, I'll make a note of that, Liz, and send you details of Connect through. And I think there'll be some webinars coming up on Connect very shortly as well, because that's our new and latest pen that we've just launched earlier this year. So it just saves the student time in taking notes. Okay, well, we don't appear to have any more questions. So if anyone wants to arrange a one-to-one training session, I can dive into the pen features in more detail. This was very much taking a look at the exam reader. Obviously, the reader pen is available to all institutions as well, but that pen cannot be taken into a JCQ exam. It does have to be the orange pen, but the white pen is very feature rich. It's got dictionaries, it's got storage. It can really help students who are learning English perhaps, and it will help those with low literature levels, as it includes the dictionary on it as well. All our pens are available to trial. So if anyone's interested in taking a trial, we can send you some pens out. And I think the best way is just to get the students, try them out and get some feedback from them. So if anyone's interested in that, again, you can reach me at geraldine@scanningpens.com, or try the both numbers on there. I've got a Wi-Fi number there, 0203039069 or you'll get me anytime on my mobile, which is 07794 225 310. Yeah, Caroline, I think it does increase confidence. I think particularly at sort of college, university age, you know, they are wanting to work independently. They don't want the human readers. I get that all the time. They feel silly, they feel stupid. They just want to get on with the work. And, you know, you may have students not under normal circumstances in work placements as well. So they don't have all the solutions to hand that you may be able to offer them in college. So again, this is where this pen can come into play, and they can just have it in their pocket and just get it out if they need to read any text if they're off campus. So thank you all, everyone. That was a whiz through. As I say, if anyone wants any more detailed webinars or would like to hook up with our Head of Education, Julia Clouter, then just let us know, or, you know, just register on the links that I will send through following this presentation. But thank you so much for joining us. I hope you found that useful. As I say, we do run webinars on a monthly basis. If anything wants anything more bespoke, then just get in touch with me and we can organise that for you. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of the afternoon and this week. Take care. Thank you.